So breaking the ego. There's so many things, isn't it? We pay attention to this ego thing and etc. etc. And I was really thinking about, my journey. And I don't think it has to be that way. But for some reason, it was that way for me. I mean, that's what it felt like. That's the story, right? I mean, I'm not my story, by the way. Just thought I'd let you know that. And you're not your story. You are aware of a story. Therefore, you cannot be your story. The eye cannot see itself. So there you go. You're not your story. I'd just like to let you know that. But it seems to me what was apparent in this story of Sheena was that her spirit was broken. And I realized, oh my goodness, look at the journey that we have from cradle to grave. Yeah. We follow this corporate training schedule from day one because our parents have already been indoctrinated into that programming. So we come along here and we get programmed here as a child when we think we let our imagination go round. But I'm sure if anybody said, I want a red Ferrari, no, you don't be silly, you can't have one of those. But then as we go to school, then we're crushed even further. And then we go along this tight. And then what we build up is like a defense mechanism, like an ego. I mean, I'm only telling you what a little story could be. Like a defense mechanism. So you've got this ego coming along. And when I started studying thinking into results with Bob Proctor, because I didn't know why I wasn't getting results, I was doing everything that everybody said, was that I was protecting myself so much. My ego was so protective of everything. And like they call it the dark night of the soul. I don't believe you have to actually go through that, but that's what it looked like. So just what I did to myself was what was done to me, where I knew my spirit was being crushed. And I know that because I used to have these like energy symbols that were coming in, and I would have absolute nightmares about this. And that lasted for about 3 years, just nightmares. And I could see these energy things coming in. And I see that that's where I thought I was this great big thing. But then I was like, no, you're this. That's it. And it's not your parents' fault. It's not anybody's fault. Everybody's been coded the whole way down the line. And so we go through this like training ground where we go into schools and then grammar school and then university and then into corporate, and then you have a pension and then you die. And anybody who's not in corporate, who's in a normal job, we're all feeding that. We're feeding it. We're feeding into it. It doesn't have to be that way. You can choose to literally, find somewhere that, hang on, I'm on the ground level here. So if I buy something from a company, I'm feeding the whole way up the chain. Yes, that's where your money's going. And you think, well, they do good services. But do you need what you need? Do you want what you want? Or have you been programmed that you think you need it? You've been programmed that you think you want it. What is it? You don't know anymore, do you? You haven't a clue. Your body just comes up with a need. I want that. I'll have it. And actually, it's the mind that controls the body. The body is an instrument of the mind. And the mind is being controlled with all these thoughts that are coming around, left, right, and center, being fired at you all the time, and you're falling for them. What if you could find something, a process in how to think so that you were clear and that you could discern between what you wanted and what you've been programmed to want? What if you could do that? What would that look like? Then you could decide, right, I'm going to be a bit higher up on the chain. And when this money comes up here, I'm going to circulate it back around again. And then you get yourself higher up, because remember, what goes around comes around. So the more wealthy you get, the more wealthy you get, the more wealthy you get. So you go back up and you're going to get higher up that scale. And you're going to decide, when I get this money, I'm going to circulate it back around again. Imagine if everybody started to do that. Imagine if the top people, all that money, decided to circulate it round. And so the circle of life was fulfilled rather than it just going up to the top and getting stuck up there. There's a lot of people who do it. But do you want to be the one at the top doing that? Or do you want to be the one at the bottom just waiting for it to come to you, never knowing when it's going to come next? It appears that you can choose that. Now, I don't know anything, but it appears that you can do that just with your attention. Where are you putting your attention? Are you talking about what you don't want? Or are you talking about where you're going? And if you don't know where you're going, then your energy will just stay there and just eat you up. And it's okay. There's plenty of things to program you to keep you there, to make sure that you stay there. But if you're listening to this now and you've done all the personal development, been watching whoever for years, and there's still nothing happening, or you're still not at peace, you still don't feel safe and secure, and you've just given up and just gone, well, this must be my life. It's not. There is more. There really is more. And you are love and you are everything that you're looking for. But what I find, and I remember I can only talk from my experience, I find was that I needed to control this, but then when you try to control the mind, then it kicks off. But it's not really about control, it's about finding a new thought pattern. So here's an old thought pattern, and we want a new thought pattern, and that helps control the urges, the cravings. You can start to see them now. You can start to step back from the noise that you're having, and then you can start to become aware, and you can start to find that peace, and you can start to hear what your heart is crying out for, what your very essence of you wants. Book a call, and if you're ready, I can't talk to anybody who's not ready to hear this stuff. I just can't talk to you. There's no point. So don't waste your time. But if you're ready and you've had enough, that's where I got to when I decided to go and work with Bob Proctor. I just had enough. I didn't know where to turn. As Bob would say, your way what isn't working, try mine. So the link's in the chat. Book a call. I'd like to see you there. See if we can go get you a little bit higher and circulate that wealth. Go a little bit higher, circulate that wealth. Wouldn't that be fun? What would you do? I'd love to hear. See you soon.